Whee! Hi, Paulie here. Whee! Right. So, cool board games. Well, so one of my favourite movies of all time is Aliens. Brilliant, wonderful, love it, go Marines. Good thing they didn't make any more movies after that one. So, board game which is actually almost impossible to find in Australia due to copyright reasons. This one. Aliens, another glorious day in the Corps. I love the Corps. So this is a cooperative survival board game. And if you haven't seen it, it's very, very good. It's deceptively simple. So, how this little thing works? Well, lots of goodies that come in the box. And what you get is a ton of these here character cards. Now, you get characters. Obviously, they're all ones we know from the film. There are two sides to each of these character sheets. They've got a version as a hero and a version as a grunt. So when you play, what happens is each player will select a character that they will play, and they play that with the hero side up. Other characters that are there are grunts. They're not as good, they haven't got quite as many options. But they are a group pool that you can use. When it's your turn to move, whoever has the character with the highest rank, they move first. And they can then choose to move some grunts. The higher your rank, the more grunts you can move. It cascades its way. Oh, now then moves around the table, with each of you able to move a couple of grunts. At the end of it, any that are left, player with the character with the highest rank will move those last few grunts around. So, these guys are a resource. Everything works off a D10 for characters. D6 is for aliens. All of this is provided. But at the core of it are these really cool little cards. Now, things. Obviously, we've got playboards and
Playboards with secreted resin,
which are used to make up, bits of Hadley's Hope. You get a ton of cool stuff. So, right, you've got lots and lots and lots of character sorts, Gorman and Ridley and all these sorts of things. Now these are kits. The kits are bloody fiddly. I actually want to find the designer and choke him to death with my bare hands, because you get things like our little alien mates here, and you can see it's like a barrel of monkeys. There's no real facility for storing them. But what happens with some of the kits is there's no slots really to attach long, delicate things like tails in. So super glue them and put them aside and dry them well. The game has a considerable amount of assembly required before you can play. However, what you do get out of it is a dozen odd cool Marines and a couple of dozen really groovy aliens. You also have to assemble these little shot counters. These have a number of them. So what happens resource management wise is when a character takes a turn, it gets 2 actions. Those actions can be move, they can be shoot, or they can be doing things like interacting with technology, using a computer terminal for instance, or attempting to weld the door shut, which is kind of a useful idea, blockading areas. When you shoot, you've got each individual character has a firing skill. You set it on this little dial counter, ta-da. But every time you shoot, you wind this down to a lower number. So if I've got 2 actions and I walk up and go shoot, shoot, all right, so I've got a 7 or less to start off with. After I shoot, I have to crank it down 1, so the second time I shoot, it'll be a 6 or less on the D10 to hit. Fantastic. Where this gets interesting is when the aliens attack you, when they try and leap in on someone, that person can do defensive fire, and the people around them can as well. If you've gone around like a wild maniac firing shots and cranking down your accuracy, you're less able to defend yourself during the alien turn. Okay. If you have a weapon that's fully automatic, when you roll to hit, and if you hit, you can keep rolling to hit. You can just keep going. You can fire. So, you want some of this? You want some of this too? So yeah, you can keep doing that. But each time it's going to wind down your accuracy. However, what we do end up with is you get a card management problem. Because the heart of this game is this rather interesting and simple deck of cards. There's one deck. Now, what this has in it is equipment and also events. There's also some different icons on the cards, marking them as weapons or stars or whatever. So when you equip a party, you pull out some of these cards and you use them to find the equipment for your characters. I'm going to give this one, everyone gets 2 pieces of weaponry. One's a prime weapon and the other one is a weapon that is marked as backup. So I could have a smart gun as a main weapon, or I could have a pulse rifle. Backup weapons are things like pistols, they're things like a pump action shotgun, they're things like grenades. Flamethrowers is a primary weapon, and you can also get equipment, 2-piece equipment at the bottom. Helmets, armor, but there's also welding machinery, motion detectors, medical kits. These sorts of things are all equipment that you can deck you guys out with. So you've removed cards from this deck to outfit your characters, but the cards are the resource that you must manage during the game. They now go into this sort of very interesting little, you've got this kind of card management stick. What happens is you make a deck, and there is a deck for cards that are played and exhausted, and then there's a section for discards. Once cards are discarded, they don't come back into play. So what happens is, when you fire, it costs you a number of cards to fire. You take them from the deck, unseen, and you put them on the exhaust card. A pulse rifle might cost you 2 cards from that deck to fire. It costs you 1 card, I think. A smart gun will cost you 3, but the smart gun is rolling multiple dice to hit every time it fires. All right, but it's burning through those cards. They go from the normal deck to the exhaust deck. However, if you ever run out of cards from the main deck to expend, then you have to pull them from the exhaust deck and they become discards. They never come back. If you ever run the party out of cards, that's it. Game over, man, game over. You guys ran out of ammo, you ran out of resources, the bugs got you. So if you run around as a complete a-hole, hosing smart gun fire, left, right and centre down every corridor and whatever, it's like, you have the time of your life for about 3 turns, and then, the bugs will get you. There are special moves that you can do, and characters have special moves that they can do that manage these cards. You can also do rest actions. If you rest a character and don't do anything, you can recycle cards from the exhaust deck back into the main pickup deck and this sort of thing. So card resource management is the mechanism that makes this game run. And it's very, very simple and it's very, very clever. What a great idea. So things that didn't immediately seem obvious as we were playing, we were laying things out. It's like I can take like a pump action shotgun as a backup weapon. All right. But it's going to cost me cards every time I fire it. If I take grenades, this is a one shot. I discard the card. It's gone forever. But it does a boom and it will attack everything, in squares around it. But it doesn't require cards to run it. I've already spent that card as I was, equipping the characters. And there are several other resources like that are like a discard the card, but they don't at least cost you from the deck in front of you. So, a very clever little mechanism there. This game was incredibly playable. We had a great time playing this one. It comes with a set of adventures which are designed to simulate Alien, the movie. So the first one is you get into Hadley's Hope and you've got to find Newt. Then the second ones are you have to go down into the the area under the fusion reactors and try and find colonists and so on. Then you have to try and survive as the aliens are busting in, and these things get progressively worse and worse. They've got a nice mechanism for cards for the aliens. You get spawning points on the board, and these spawning points generate blips, beep, 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 and the blips have a kind of a vague way of moving around. They don't move particularly fast, they don't move particularly accurately, but when they move, they do home in towards characters, and as soon as they come into line of sight, you replace that blip with alien models, and in they go, and they move like lightning, and yes, they try and jump on you and bite your head. So you start seeing blips closing in and aliens running towards you, and you're having to plan what you're going to do to stay alive. They have some expansions for this. The first expansion is extra characters and so on. This is Heroes of Hadley's Hope. There's another one for sort of Ripley versus the Alien Queen. So you get a great big model to put together for that, and just plain fun. This is a great piece of work. It's not that expensive to get into. It's got great replay value. Choosing what characters you play is going to change the play each time. They've each got their own special powers and strengths used as heroes, and so that's going to completely change the way you play. So this is a great communal survival board game. Go out there and have a look. It's Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Corps. It's out there now. Get in there and do some bug hunting. All right, cheers.